Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're doing great. About 6:30, you're gonna be heading out through traffic here in downtown. Around. I'm on the outer loop here. There's like roads that go around the city. I'm on one of the outer loops, and so it takes should be about 50 minutes, almost an hour, depending on the traffic today. Have some meetings set up, starting at 10:30, then at 11:30, and then at 1:30, and then I have a network meeting tonight from 4 to 8. Oh, and then a one-on-one accountability coaching. And so the way that I view that is I set forth some different goals, some different expectations that I want to accomplish, and then I report back on what I've done. So hope you're all doing well. Sherman's out. Hey there, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Neck is a little too fat to button up this top button. It's a little too tight. I'm just gonna cinch up the tie. So I did the Crazy Asian podcast today, focusing on motivation, but more from the perspective of, I think sometimes people abandon their passions a little bit too early because they realize it's not going to earn them the income that they want, or that it's going to take them a while to get there. So I recounted the story about how physicians get to where they want to go, doctors, and a lot of times they've made decisions in their high school years to sacrifice a lot of time and energy to be able to make sure they know the science material, because they know that their undergraduate degree will be focused on the sciences, and so will their MD, their school. Plus, I kind of recounted just the timeline that it takes about 12 years post high school to get your MD, to become a physician that's actually practicing, because you have 4 years of undergrad, then you have 4 years of medical school, and then you'll typically have anywhere between 3 to 4 years of residency, which, by the way, that's when you're finally earning at least a little bit of income, anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000, and then you might do a fellowship. So for some people, a buddy of mine, he's a radiologist. It was 4 years of undergrad, and he was on a waiting list, so he had to wait a year before entering medical school after undergraduate his degree, and then it was 4 years of residency. And then it was 2 years of fellowship. So it wasn't until he's in his 30s that he was actually finally practicing what he wanted to be doing. And so I recounted the book by Malcolm Gladwell, David versus Goliath, where he talks about having 10,000 hours to become competent, an expert, really having the knowledge at something. And so sometimes I think people, they chase money and income in order to justify abandoning their desires, which I don't think is the right thing to do. I think if we can figure out how to passionately pursue those things that we truly want to, it'll be a lot easier for us to be able to generate the income that we want, because we're doing exactly what we want to be doing. That positive energy just feeds on itself to get us to where we want to go. So that was the Crazy Asian podcast this morning. Got in. The traffic wasn't too bad. However, I did see somebody that was driving. So I'm in the fast lane, and I'm behind an SUV, Arizona plates, and they're going about 60. I'm going 64. It's 65 as a speed limit. There's a car behind me, flashes his highs, and he weaves into the shoulder to see kind of what's ahead, and he sees that I'm behind a car, and then he passes, and then he decides as he's passing the other car to roll down his window just to yell and give the finger at the other person, and then goes on his way. But lo and behold, it's traffic. It's Houston. There's thousands of people, millions of people on the road right now. And what happens is they pass, and then I pass that guy. And I'm in the right lane. That's the traffic's actually moving. So I probably got to where I needed to go before that individual. Yet I found it very fascinating that this person decided, in the hustle bustle of Houston traffic, to roll down the window and make some obscene gesture, which, by the way, is it really it's just, all you're doing is you're holding up a finger. It doesn't really do anything. So I thought to myself, it's just really strange behavior. Inappropriate. Unacceptable. Really? Where you're going? So the person's sitting in this fast lane? Come on. Just because you need to go somewhere fast doesn't mean it's other people's prerogative. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Sherm's out. Woo, running in the rain.
networking meeting, had a great interview. Guy had ran his own business for 19 years. Fantastic. Hey there, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Wanted to just recap. Had a great committee meeting in there for the Houston West Chamber. It's for the Economic Development Summit that they're hosting January 8th, 2019. Have some different panels that's coming in, have some guest speakers. Obviously, there's some opportunity to be able to network and get to know other people. I enjoy kind of the marketing side of things, and so that's really where I place my ability and skill set. Obviously, you're watching this on probably Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. There's some format you've got this on digital. And sorry, phone call came in, cut it out. So I can have a lot of value to a committee in that kind of realm, making sure that if there are marketing dollars, let's spend them wisely. It's more of that laser focus than a shotgun approach. And then, so I'm looking at making myself available for a couple of different committees in order to donate some of my time. And it goes back to this old fortune cookie quote that I have in my wallet. It says, the man who does more than is paid will soon find he is paid for more than he does. I think that happens a lot, not only in work, in business, and entrepreneurship, is that when you go out of your way to help other people, in turn, you will find yourself being compensated appropriately for all that hard work. And so sometimes people get that backwards. They want to be able to get the compensation, and then they'll put in the time. Put in the time first, and then you'll get it. It's just like if you and I were farmers back in the day, you can't get more yield, you can't get more fruits, more vegetables, more yield, unless you plant the seeds and cultivate it ahead of time. Always plant the seeds. Sherm's out. All right, daily vlog. Had a great meeting there at the committee meeting and looking for opportunities to give value, and then came back to the office and did some more just administrative stuff, sending out emails to people that had to get responded to, doing a little bit of research on 4 disciplines of execution. Looks like we're going to be implementing that a little bit. And so although I will tell you, I basically come from the idea of execution. That's really the 3 main words I focus on: execution, consistency, and more. Execution, consistency, and more. Those are my 3 main focuses. And so when it comes to execution, for me, it's about doing the things that's going to lead to the success that I ultimately want. And so as I have my wildly outrageous goal, or it's called a BHAG in another philosophy, is basically what's that one thing that you could focus all in on that's going to train or change the ultimate outcome of what you want in the positive way from a business perspective or from a personal perspective. When it comes to a lot of times when people like their personal aspirations, what do they want to do? What's the one thing that they could do that really can get to where they want to go? And that is way more powerful by focusing on that one thing than all the other things. In the book, 4 Disciplines of Execution, they call it the whirlwind, so avoiding that whirlwind. I'm going to be running off to a networking meeting downtown Houston, so I wanted to be able to just recap this in. I'm going to do a quick 1-minute quote of the day, and then we're rolling. Sherm's out. It's raining. Going in here, Zaza Hotel, Z-A-Z-A Hotel. Networking event, Texas Young Professionals. Let's do this. All right there, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Just walk in here. Ending of the networking session. Great times, great conversations with folks. Just to kind of clarify, I'm not networking with the business card. Still waiting for them to arrive. And I think what you can end up using is that I use is just LinkedIn. A lot of people are on LinkedIn. There's very few that weren't. And so I just said, hey, you're on LinkedIn, pulled my phone out, let me add you right now, and then connected with them. And that way I'm instantaneously connected with them. The other thing that I like to do is I like to be in control of that relationship piece, because I want to be able to make sure that we do stay connected. And also I don't want to be like the the guy or the girl that's waiting for you to call passively. I like to be more in the proactive mindset of let's start establishing a relationship, let's start building a business relationship, and really see where we can go. So that's really where I come from that mentality. And then when it comes to a networking event, it's all about being interested, not interesting. Too many people get stuck on like oh, I need to tell you all about me and who I am. Nobody gives a crap about who we are. They want to tell about their story. So most people, the most common word that they want to hear is their own name. So they're more interested about telling their story and letting you know who they are versus wanting to hear about who you are. And so allow yourself to ask questions and actually listen to what people are saying. Too many times we'll fall into the problem, myself personally as well, is, hey, what's your name? And then immediately forget what they just said because we're thinking about the next question to ask instead of being a little bit more professional and allowing the conversation to naturally go through its normal cadence where they talk, I listen, there's a natural pause, and then we ask another question and continue to move. At a networking event, very common for me to say, hey, I'm Sherman, what's your name? And then typically I'll read it on their badge, and then I'll say something along the lines of, so what do you do professionally? And then they'll tell me, how do you like it over there? How long have you been there? Those are the questions. Then tell me a little bit more about what that's like. Are you from around the area? And then they'll typically then ask me about what I do and my thoughts on things. So really, really good event. Was there from about 5 to 8. Had several conversations and then heading back home. So I really enjoy these kind of networking events. It's a great opportunity for me to get to know different people in the community and start building out that natural network. And then 2 is I want to be able to make sure that I'm being of value to people. So I'm looking for opportunities for me to give value to other people in a way that's meaningful for them, for their career. There was someone that I had met tonight, Jennifer Limers, and I'm going to connect her with some different people in the accounting arena because she wants to be able to she's between jobs right now. She was recently laid off, and so looking to get in a company in their accounting division or the accounting department. And if I can hopefully get some goodwill, maybe I can introduce her to someone, they can get her a job, that'll really help out her. And guess what? She'll be then a raving fan of who I am because I decided to go out of my way and introduce her to somebody. But the reality is that she's the one that locked down that job. I didn't do it, she did. And so it's really her and her skill set and being able to get the business, get the job, get the position. So other thing, remember name badge, right shoulder, or right chest area. And then firm handshakes, get immediately within the 24 hours, shoot emails, shoot LinkedIns. I found that right now, 2018 October, I'll shoot like personalized messages in the LinkedIn and and I'll say, hey, let's meet up. And they don't actually read it, they just accept it. And so I'm sending just follow-up emails, just saying, hey, let's connect. I want to keep our business relationship strong. Let's see how we can be of value to each other. And that's how I do it in establishing that longer relationship. There's some people that you have a conversation with, just didn't really hit it off, and so I'll just say thanks, great talking with you tonight. I'm sure I'll see you at future events and leave it at that. There's no need for me to call them and set up a meeting if I'm not looking forward to seeing them to begin with. And then I'm finding now, already going to some of these networking events, I'm running into some of the similar people, and that's okay. Again, shake their hand, say, hey, how's everything going? Actually listen to what they say. And again, if there's something new that's happened in your life or your business, or you've been connected with somebody, you think that they might be of interest or value to them, that can be extremely valuable for you. And I find that people have questions about the selfie stick. And I tell them I have the Crazy Asian vlog and the Crazy Asian podcast. And they think it's pretty, their words, ballsy or gutsy that I put myself out there. And again, I put myself out here for legacy purposes, number 1, and for my children's children to watch this craziness. And then number 2 is I want to be able to show you where I started and where it's going to be. Sherman's out.